Gents, welcome back. Finals race is well and truly on. A few topics to discuss, guys. Are some teams custard? Who's the dark horse? Uh, Dicko, we were just talking before about a couple of key signings.
Mm.
And Molly just off air then. Sandon Smith looks like he's off to the Knights to join Dylan Brown in the halves. Do we think that that's the plan? Is that the plan going forward, or is
Well, guys, I got a bit of an update on that. I actually spoke to his managers today,
Hmm.
and there's four or five clubs chasing him. So could be a bit of a bidding war, and the Roosters still have to sanction it because he's
Hmm.
under contract for next year. So it's not over the line, the Knights. And if I was Sandon Smith, I'd think long and hard before going to a team that can't score a point in the first half. So it's
Yeah, well, that's
it's
true.
not a done deal.
So I'm assuming the Cowboys, the Eels are in that race.
Yep, Dragons I've heard, and the Raiders. So
The Raiders
Yeah,
the
okay.
Raiders, yeah.
Interesting.
to replace Jamal Fogarty.
Jamal Fogarty, yeah, be a good fit.
Maybe DCE can go down there.
And
We're going to get to him shortly. Don't you worry. Speaking of Manly, Talkeaho and Talau have re-signed for a year. Um, I think Garrick's gone to test the open market. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like Manly are a little bit in shambles at the moment. They don't really know what's going on.
Well, Molly
oh,
know more than me.
they're a mess, aren't they? And they have been a mess since about round two when the cherry bombshell exploded. When
Mm.
said, "No, I'm not going to be here next year," and they've been all over the shop ever since. Now Anthony Seibold's under real pressure. They were awful the other day. Cherry was
Oh,
terrible.
horrible.
Luke Brooks was much better. The Turbos, Jake won't play again this year after head knock after head knock. I think he's had three.
Yeah.
Tom's, not playing the sort of footy we know he can play. Obviously still injured. And Garrick's out for the year. So I think we were mentioning finals contenders. Mathematically, they're still right up there, but I'm putting a line through them. I think they're gone.
So
Well,
Molly, you've said it all year about Cherry Evans is going to the Roosters.
Yes.
Is that literally is that is that
Well,
is that still going on?
yes and no, in that he is going to the Roosters. The Roosters, I'm hearing, and this is only rumor, but it certainly makes sense. They're going to honour the deal,
Okay.
but they're going to encourage him not to play and to
oh
go on the
dear.
coaching staff. And there's no salary cap really on the coaching staff, so and Uncle Nick's a wealthy man, as we know. So, he can look after him. He can make him an ambassador. He can play golf. He can be a kicking coach. There's a lot of things he can
Yeah.
do. Whereas if he was going there as a player, it was going to be for 12 months. So this might be the best thing that happened to Cherry Evans. He could get a 10-year deal out of the Roosters.
Well, do you think it's due to um,
Well, it's
DCE's
the
form?
emergence of Hugo Savala
Yeah,
is what.
and also Sam Walker's form. Like, I mean, there was rumors that he was going to sort of play second fiddle, and Sam Walker was open to that and learning from him, and not necessarily taking the reins. But I think it's Sam Walker's team, don't you think?
Well, you have to say now.
It is for sure, but I mean the decisive factor is the fact that Cherry's just gone 1 year too long already.
Yeah,
He plays on next year, and it's going to be 2 years too long.
you'd almost say that he'd be third string in line anyway,
Yeah, exactly. And you
behind the
can't see him
two.
going there and playing New South Wales Cup.
Yeah.
I think the Roosters have got to sit him down and just have that very tough conversation that, every footballer has at some stage. And it's an unusual one because he hasn't played a game for the club. But, just I know they're a club that honours its commitments. Some clubs might just say, because nothing's actually been signed, nothing's been documented, they might just
Mm,
say, "Oh,
mm.
we screwed up. See you later."
Mm.
They'll give him something, and it'll be something, tempting and good. He'll probably want to play on, as most players do. But I think
Yeah.
deep down, you look at his body language
Mm.
the other day, the way him and his wife were hugging after the game, it was almost like someone had died. It was
Well,
a very sad scene.
well, you say his body language, and I've sort of got a bit of an opinion on this. I feel like he looks like a guy that wants to retire, but doesn't know what life after footy looks like, and therefore is, I don't know whether it's scared or whatever of retiring, of calling it quits. Because I watched the game on the weekend, and there was a couple of instances where I think it was brought up today on Fox League or one of the footy pages. He shirked some contact. Like there was a pass he threw, like didn't take a hit, for instance. Now I'm not saying he's soft in any way here. Like he's played 350 games, the toughest sport you can play. But there comes a time where I feel like he's just lost a bit of confidence in the ability for his body to be able to recover and back up consistently
Well,
week after week.
let's go back a week to the Canberra game and what that
Mm.
Ethan Strange did to him. He just palmed him off
Yeah.
a couple of times like he wasn't there. And
And the same thing happened on the weekend. I don't even think I think he just threw an arm out. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even an attempt of a tackle. So this is what I mean. He's kind of, it's almost subconsciously like not looking for the contact anymore. And I don't know whether that's his head just saying you've had enough, and
Yeah.
he
Well,
just
the good old
can't come to that
cliche is
decision.
defense comes down to attitude, and I don't know if it's an attitude thing as such, because he's definitely, well, you would like to think he's trying, but in attack, yeah. But you're right, Dicko. He's not prepared to put his body on the line as much defensively or take those hits. I mean, he used to run right up to the line and
Mm,
play those, nice balls out there. I mean, Manly's attack's a joke. Like, it's
mm.
an absolute atrocious. I mean, I
It's a
want,
sad it's a sad way to see it
yeah,
happen. Really, I mean, the whole situation, as Molly said, from round whatever it was, what was it, round 4 or something? The whole situation's been an absolute shambles. Going on
well,
100%, was it 100% footy? Is that where he went on and announced that he's leaving? That was just a shambles in itself. No, announced that he wasn't re-signing, and then who knows what he's doing, and then he hasn't made a decision. He gets dropped from Origin, and we've just been strung along. And again, I think it's because he doesn't know what decision he wants to make because he doesn't know what the future holds if
yeah.
he was to retire.
Well, it's
I
funny.
really think deep down that he wants to go. He doesn't want to play anymore.
You reckon he doesn't want to?
I don't think he wants to play anymore.
I think he's come to realise that the last few weeks,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a player knows, and I think what you guys are saying is right. His head probably wants to go on. I mean,
Mm.
you never want to retire, but his body's just not up to it anymore, and he's fallen apart, and it's affecting him obviously psychologically, and he's not playing the sort
He's
of
mentally
confident
not
footy
there.
he
You can
could.
just tell.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to Origin. I mean, it was a really brave call by Queensland, but it was the right call. And if they'd kept him,
Mm,
did the old stick and pick, probably New South Wales would have the trophy right now.
Mm.
That's how
yeah.
he's going.
Well,
I saw that photo. Well, it was a video, but I saw a photo of him and his wife after the game, Molly, as you were saying just before, and that looked to me like it was I've had enough, and
Mm.
I've had enough. Embrace. This is it.
I,
So
I, you reckon he'll play next week?
He'll play the rest of the season. Yeah, 100%.
You reckon Manly will play him after?
I just don't think he's the type of guy that'll walk out mid-sea. I think
I know he
he'll
won't,
play.
but will Manly put their foot down like they've done with, like Parramatta have done, and look to the future? Throw Joey Walsh in there for the last 2 rounds.
Well, no, because what's the point? They've got Fogarty coming to play 7 next year. So there's no real, what's the
Mm.
benefit of him standing down and bringing a young kid because that young kid's not going to play next season.
Well,
It's
let's
going to be
just send
Fogarty.
him out on a high or maybe an all-time low.
Is their literally last game of the season at Brookie?
Just scrolling through. I'm going to mention a couple of things. Yeah, it is against the Warriors.
So you'd be guaranteed that he'll be playing that game. So
Yeah, I think they'll let him see it out. I think they
I mean, they
know.
should let him see it,
I
Eddie.
think it would be unfair if they don't.
Yeah. Well, if you picked it on form, you'd probably drop him, but
Yeah.
Mate, you'd probably drop half the team, to be honest with you.
Well, it's
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that round 2 announcement because I don't know if it's pretty hard to think back that way, but I'm just looking through the fixtures now. And this is just Manly in general. I know a lot of it's been affected by DCE, but they came out and sort of got around him and they actually beat the Raiders 40-12
Yeah,
in
I remember
round.
that game.
But
Carve them up.
since then, and the whole Origin saga, I don't know if you recall, I certainly do as a Penrith fan. Before Origin teams were picked, Manly came out and smashed Penrith. Like, really, probably played one of their best games of the season. Won 26-10. They went into Origin and they lost to Parramatta when they were going horrible. Then they came out and beat the Bronx 34-6.
Tell
And
them
I'm
up.
just trying to highlight the inconsistencies here. They then lost to Newcastle and the Titans. So they lost to Newcastle, Titans, and Eels, but beat Penrith and Broncos. Work that one out. Then they beat when Seabold had his little got to win the next 2 games situation against the Tigers and the Rabbitohs. But let's face it, like they should have won those games. Then they come out and beat the Storm. And everyone goes, here we go.
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne. Yep. Here
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
They're on here.
Yeah.
Now let's have a look
That's-
at the scores since that Melbourne game.
I think they got up to about 4th or 5th on the table after that game, didn't they?
Yeah, they were right up there.
Hmm.
They've lost to the Bulldogs 42-4 and look like literally the following week. Then they lost to the Chooks, then they lost to the Raiders, then they lost to the Tigers. So they've lost 4 in a row since they beat the Storm.
They're a shambles.
Go
mate.
figure that one out.
They're a shambles.
And they
Yeah.
get worse and worse over the last
Yeah,
few weeks.
They're
So I think-
all over the shop, as we've been saying, and you know, as I said, mathematically, they're still a chance, but you wouldn't put bad money on them, would you?
I just can't figure out how a team can beat the Raiders, the Storm, and Penrith and lose to all the teams that are at the bottom.
Mm.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know, that's mindset, isn't it? That's how you prepare. Now, Molly, I want to ask you, can you reveal exclusively on the podcast anyone that's going to the Perth Bears?
Well, it's too early in that they haven't signed anyone. They've certainly got a big shopping list.
Yeah, okay. Is Tino there?
Yeah, Tino's high on the list, but
Okay.
of course he hasn't signed yet. The great thing for these players, I mean, it's like them winning the lottery, because whether they go to the Bears or not, they're going to be worth a hell of a lot more money. You know, the Bears and then PNG are going to inflate the market, and you know, the smart players, you notice, they're all signing 1-year deals. No one's signing for beyond when Perth comes in, because they know the value of the market's just going to explode. So,
Well, here's a bit of a question without notice. I was just looking through the draw for this week, and the Titans logo come up, and I was on radio today. They were talking about Tino. Now, Tino's has he got an 8-year contract or something in place with the Titans?
yeah, it's about that.
Yeah, but every year he can go on the open market
Yeah.
of that 8 years.
Now we can, yeah.
So work that out. That's got to be the most ridiculous contract, because they were saying today that should the NRL cap contract lengths at 5 years like the NBA do, so no club can sign a player for any longer than 5 years. They're talking to Braithen Astor about it on radio today, and he's a play manager himself. He manages Cam Munster among others.
Yeah.
He actually said he doesn't mind it, because give me a player who signed a 10-year deal that's actually worked.
Yeah, probably the one that's come closest is Jason Tamalolo.
Tamalolo, yeah, that's right, exactly.
He's up to
Yeah.
about 8 or 9, but
But
he's
falling
certainly-
apart, isn't he?
But
Well,
not
he's
the
going
player
to see
he
it
was.
out, but God, the last 3 years he's probably played 10 games.
I mean, DCE, don't forget, signed that big deal when he shirked the Titans. But again, coming to the end. So, you know, generally, are you getting bang for buck? And these teams like Newcastle and, you know, even the Titans to an extent have got to throw out these massive long contracts, because that's the only way they can recruit players. So maybe, I don't know, if we cap it if the NRL cap contracts at 5 years, would that maybe even the talent out a bit more?
It could do. I actually did a bit of research when Braith said that, because I didn't know there was an NBA cap. And what the rule actually is it's 5 years with your existing club
Mm.
and 4 years if you switch clubs.
Switch clubs, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how it's going to help fix the talent problem, in that we've just shown that 10-year deals don't work. So, if clubs are stupid enough to sign players to them,
Because they were alluding to the fact that the Dylan Brown 10 years at 12 mil, Newcastle getting buyer's remorse now, considering he really hasn't played and his form's been average at best.
Well, I can reveal that Jason Taumalolo's contract, they've been trying to get out that for a while.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
They have definitely been trying to get out of that for a while.
Well, mate, they owe him $1 million for the next couple of years. Of course, they're trying to get out of him. He plays every fourth week.
And he was actually supposed to sign over in the NFL.
Yeah, all right.
And the contract was done to basically, and the reason why is because the NRL actually helped in that situation to keep him, because they didn't want to lose him to the NFL.
I mean, the only reason why I brought it up, I just thought it was farcical, the whole Tino contract. Every November 1 for the next 7 years, he can go on the open market. Like, I don't even know what clown from the Titans come up with that contract. Seriously.
Yeah,
probably was the only way to get him to sign a contract that long. Like, you'd be crazy to sign for 7-8 years with the Titans without a get out.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Brimson signed a 6-year deal last year when he was injured.
He signed to 2030.
Yeah, 31, I think.
They're trying to get rid of him. Anyway.
I hope he's got a get out clause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Cam McInnes, guys. Poor bugger suffered an ACL, but geez, what a tough fella.
Yeah, so I missed that game. Did he get up, go back to the line and make the next tackle?
Yeah.
He was first in line.
Up. He's got 2 knees, so he just used another one.
He's got 2 knees and about 3 teeth. Good on him. He's tough.
He's done his ACL before, but on the other leg.
Other leg, yeah. He's the heart and soul. I mean, every team has a heart and soul, and he always leads line speed. He always is there in cover. When there's a break, he's mopping it up.
Are the Sharks? Is this going to impact the Sharks more than people?
Oh, yeah, you're right, Molly. He's the captain. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's the captain. Yeah. Yep.
And they're in a bit of strife, Cronulla, aren't they? They're sort of treading water and have been for quite a few weeks. They went all right last week, but apart from that, they've been all over the place. They've been a bit like Manly in a way, just not quite as bad.
I was thinking the same thing, Molly. I was thinking the same thing.
They when they're good, they're very good, but when they're bad, they're just a boring team.
The problem with the Sharks is like similar to Manly. They're going terribly, and then they come out with a result like they did against the Titans and look like they can win the comp on their day. And then you watch this week, they'll play. Who are they versing? I don't know. Someone rubbish, probably. And
They're going to buy this week.
Oh, lucky, because they would have lost.
Well, here's a question for you. We talk about Anthony Seibold. We talk about Des Hasler. We talk about Adam O'Brien in terms of coaches that are under pressure. Now, this is Craig Fitzgibbon's 4th year, right, as head coach of the Sharks. And he's basically had the same squad. Pretty much the same squad. He was the one who recruited Nico Hines.
And no Origin players. Right? He recruited Nico Hines. They also got Aden Fanil-Black. So technically they were better than last year and the year before. If he doesn't get them, I'm not even going to say to a premiership because I don't think they can win it. I think that's very unrealistic. But if he doesn't get them competing in a grand final, does that ask more questions of the coaching ability, or is the squad and the roster not good enough to win? There's one for you. What do you think?
I think he's safe in that any coach who gets his team close enough to the top 4, which they probably will be, but they live or die by Nico Hines, don't they? And to a lesser extent, the 5'8".
Trindle. Yep, Trindle.
Yeah. Like, remember last year, Nico was going terrible and Trindle was going sensational.
They carried him, yeah.
Yeah, well, there are games this year where they've both gone terrible and as a result, they've lost. But when they both play well, as they did last weekend, they look like world beaters. So
I think he's safe too, Molly. I agree with you. But what I'm sort of alluding to is, does he blow the roster up at the end of this season and realise, you know what, we've had 4 cracks at this and I can't get them past a prelim, what else are these the right players?
I reckon that there's certain coaches that have a certain style of coaching, right? There's criticism around Seabog because he's too tactical and players don't understand what he's talking about. Reads out a lot of data information that's hard to process for NRL players who typically have an IQ of less than 80. And then you've got Craig Fitzgibbon, who's predominantly a defensive coach, but let's be honest, in the last 4 years, have Cronulla been great defensively ever? No. Have they improved? No. Has Craig Fitzgibbon got their attack humming enough consistently, or does have the ability to do that? Because that's where they've kind of struggled. Or has he hasn't really made inroads in their squad defensively?
Well, have they improved in the last 4 years? If I was to ask you both, has Cronulla improved as a football team?
I would say they're very consistent, but
the same.
Not in a great way. They're always 5th, 6th, maybe 4th, but they're not going to be in the grand final. They're just up there. They've got enough talent to get to the finals. They'll win enough games. And
it's the next step, isn't it? It's the next step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now is that coaching or is that player personnel? This is what I don't.
Oh, look, I think it's a bit of both. There's one player
exactly
for a lot of teams that make a massive difference, and we're certainly realizing the impact of players in certain positions that probably previously didn't matter too much, i.e. Herbie Farmworth at centre. Who would have thought the impact of a centre so much? But I do want to bring up a name for the Sharks that they have missed dearly, who's been their best player, and that's Kale Ero.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because defensively, he's an absolute weapon. And in attack,
he was scoring tries every week.
And I think they've missed him more than they realise. I mean, he is actually due back before 4 finals, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
And they are every chance with their run home to slip into potentially even 4th spot, believe it or not.
But they're not going to start favourite in any final that they play. Yeah. I don't think.
No.
And maybe if they play whoever sneaks into 8th, but apart from that, they're not going to start favourite in any final.
And what I've noticed is some of their younger players, apart from Kale Ero, who's been touted to sort of take their game to the next level, I think has almost gone backwards a little bit. Like Britton Nakora hasn't been anywhere near as good.
I personally think they've got a really soft underbelly. They're a bit mentally fragile. They've been scarred the last few years in big finals games where they've been dominated and haven't been able to get a result where they were probably preferred to win. Especially a couple of years ago, they went out in straight sets and they were top or second, I think, finished on the ladder, and they went out both. I think they lost both finals. So I think there's a little bit of scarring there, and
they're conceding more than 20 points a game.
Yeah, they're very, as Molly said, they're very inconsistent at the moment. You don't know what you're going to get from them.
But we do know that even if they somehow jag 4th, they're not going to be in the grand final.
That's right, exactly.
We all agree on that. So,
absolutely.
As I said, they've got that consistency, but it's not a good consistency. They'll beat the bad sides.
Well, they're the same situation. It's like every time a team beats the Storm, they turn to shit after.
And every time the Storm lose, they win by 50 the next week.
That's exactly right.
Which tells you a lot about Craig Bellamy and why he's, in my opinion, head and shoulders above the rest of the coaches in the comp.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, speaking of the Storm, cracker game last Thursday night, Molly. I'm not going to try and get too emotional about this topic, but what's your thoughts on the diving situation?
Not in just that game, across the board, Molly.
Yeah, I think it's just a bad look, and I'm dirty on the referees because they're falling for it. They're saying, well, technically, Moses Leota was in the way. I think the referee knew Harry Grant took a dive, but the fact that Moses was there, and again, I'm talking in general about all these things. A player will run into a player, and another champion out of this Mitchell Moses, he probably does it more than Harry Grant. He just finds anyone to run into and screams out and gets the penalty every time. And the refs know that if they don't pull it up on Monday, they're going to cop a baking from their bosses. The bunker is exactly the same. They think, oh, geez, there was contact. Yes, he took a dive.
So do you think the referees are scared because they're going to be reprimanded for not reffing by the book, or do you think that
Definitely,
they'd be commended if they actually used a bit of common sense?
I think common sense is frowned on at the NRL, and that sort of sums up our game. And not just that, but you can also add the bombs that were mentioned a while ago, and the fact that two players compete for a bomb, and all of a
That is a
sudden
joke.
it's a penalty try because one
That
of
is a
them
joke.
put his arm around the other one. Yeah, it's
And teams have identified it well
yeah,
and
for
truly.
sure.
And I mean, arguably, two results on the weekend could have potentially been different outcomes. I talk about the Penrith game with Xavier Coates, although he was an absolute freak in the air. And to be honest, even if they had the rule, probably wouldn't have been able to stop him. But Anari Tuala trying to defend Daniel Tupou was actually embarrassing on the weekend.
Yeah.
It was like he was the guy who was prepared to play by the rules, and Roosters just exploited that loophole that's currently there at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, Melbourne played the Broncos. Harry Grant picked the ball up from dummy half, 10 metres in from the left touch line on fifth tackle. And instead of kicking it across field to the right touch line, he turned, kicked it dead set, I reckon, 3 metres in the air on top of the Broncos winger, who was the only one standing out there. And for Coates, because of this rule, because he knows that whoever was the winger, I can't remember at the time.
Well,
Whoever
Mitch
was the
Moses
winger,
keeps doing it for Zach Lomax all the time as well.
Yeah.
it's an easy that rule is an easy fix. Both players can compete. As soon as if you're defending, if you get the attacking player in a dangerous position, it's a penalty. Other than that, go for your life.
Well, it's if they don't make some changes, what's going to happen is NRL teams are obviously going to go, well, you know what? We need to buy a tall winger. And every team's going to have to try and find, like I would go as far as to say that if Jenkins wasn't as good as he's been in the air this year, that he probably might not be in the team for Penrith. But because he's good in the air and no one can compete, the amount of times he gets a free catch in a game is just ridiculous.
Well, you're going to see defensive wingers now not trying to catch the ball. They'll just try and punch it away. They won't.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Bostock, same example previously before he got injured.
Yeah,
Is it a case of, now clubs need to identify a tall winger because these are the new rules?
The worry is, though, we're this close to the finals. I don't think
Yeah.
the NRL is going to change the rule now, and we could see the grand final decided by one of these farcical penalty tries, and it'll just make a joke of the whole season.
So I've said this to Dizz after on the weekend, actually, because I know how upset he was with the Harry Grant thing. I will come to the defense of the referee and say that the rule is actually that Leota's not allowed to stand there. So regardless of whether Harry Grant took a dive or not, Moses Leota put himself in a situation where Harry Grant could take advantage of it. So that's what I will say about that, right? So the look was horrendous. At the time, I thought, we can't be doing this. But it's the rule. And the problem is the rules for that and for the crossfield kick now are that black and white that, as you said, Molly, common sense is frowned upon now in the NRL. You would like to have seen Ashley Klein. Now, I applaud Ashley Klein for actually making the decision, because regardless of either way he went, we were going to be talking about it. You would have had Storm fans blowing up that Harry
And he
Grant was
made it
taken
real
out.
quick too.
Right? He made it quick. We moved on, and okay. Right? It was 5 tries to 3 in the end. I know it was the try and goal. So it was 4 tries to 3 in regular time. Melbourne probably actually should have won by more than the try and golden point, right? But yeah, it's a terrible look. But again, I applaud Klein for making a decision. I would hate for that to decide a grand final, but unfortunately the rules are that black and white. There is no allowance for common sense. You know what I mean? Because if Nathan Cleary's right in what he said, if that's a block play, on the try line and Harry Grant does that, the bunker's probably sitting there going, he initiates contact, it's play on, they score. All right.
Yeah.
But the rule for that particular thing in the field goal, as much as I don't agree with it, is that Moses Leota cannot be standing there. So he opens himself up to let Harry Grant do it. So I think instead of the poor look from Harry Grant, you need to be telling your players, just get out of the way. Nathan Cleary's standing 15 metres back. You would hope if the player's getting put pressure on him, A, they take his leg out and you get a penalty, or the referee calls them offside. That's what we need to be looking at, the offside, because I think the more farcical is when it gets in a golden point, the players are never back 10 metres. Like when Harry Grant scored that try, I said to you, Diz, in golden point, Dylan Edwards was literally next to the play the ball when Harry Grant even picked the ball up. So he was 10 metres offside. And it just would have been interesting if Grant didn't score, whether the Klein would have blown a penalty for offside.
Well, this is the problem that we've got, and I'm going to completely disagree with what you're saying there, Dicko, because the problem that's going to happen, and it only it's no problem if you're not a fan of either side, right? Because when you don't support either side, you support the officiating decision and give that a clap, right? But if you're a fan of the side that happens to, then it becomes a problem. Because
Absolutely.
let's say, for instance, that was on tackle 3. It's going to become so obvious that someone kicks a field goal and it's going to be easier to defend because all of a sudden, every time a field goal needs to be kicked, everyone has to part the sea like Moses and everyone gets out of the way and it's just going to look stupid. So all of a sudden, when you've got teams trying to kick field goals, everyone knows when it's going to happen, as opposed to trying to disguise it and setting up like you're normally going to do a shape play or whatever.
I've got a simple
Where do
solution.
players go?
I've got a simple solution. When the dummy half picks the ball up, why isn't your field goal kicker standing literally behind the dummy half, behind the play the ball?
Well, again, it's
hard because the dummy half then has to do a 360 or 180, you know what I mean, and passes through. Maybe he passes it between his legs like they do in NFL.
But you're probably
like straight behind him.
But you're probably still going to get time though, because if he's behind the play the ball, the players are still going to have to run.
Yeah, don't forget, as you just said.
No, you won't, because what happened is, mate, Nathan Cleary doesn't miss. He got two field goals blocked after that penalty was given.
Both should have been penalty for offside. They were both
But
offside.
the reason why is because it was so obvious he was going to kick the field goal that all the players knew. Like there needs to be some level of disguise to be able to.
Let's go to a golden try. Let's piss off the golden point. That's as simple as that.
But it might take half an hour to get a golden try.
Well, it takes half an hour then. If you want to have extra time, you got to live with the fact that it could take half an hour. Because this golden point, let's face it, we're opening up a can of worms. I'm not a fan of golden point. I've never been a fan of it.
Surely the referee can tell if. So, okay, 2 scenarios here. Obviously, can of worms has been opened up. But you can tell if it's a Harry Grant, I've run straight into the player on purpose and taken a dive, or whether the attacker's actually blocked someone.
I don't disagree with you, but the rule is he can't be standing there. It's that simple. Whether
he either runs forward and blocks someone else and gets penalised, or he runs completely out of the way and makes it super obvious.
Well, what Leota should have done is levelled him because he was going to give away a penalty anyway.
I don't think he's that smart.
No. Or maybe Leota should have just jumped out of the way when.
Here's a question for you, Diz, because I know you go for Penrith.
Yeah.
Would you have walked away happy with a draw?
No. Penrith dominated that game, and there's multiple other infringements that didn't get picked up.
So if scores were level at the end of the game and it was full time, you wouldn't have been happy with the draw.
No, not really. No. Because
score at least 2 tries from Bombs, maybe even a third.
So the Storm scored a couple of those tries from Bombs, and sort of exploited that situation. Xavier Coates had a blinder. Brian To'o was leveled twice in the first half, coat hanged, and
this is the problem with
penalty.
The rule. This is the whole problem with it, right? Is that if you and I can't agree, or we can't agree here, how the hell are the NRL going to agree?
But also, if the Harry Grant situation was refereed on common sense, Cleary actually kicked that field goal. So Penrith would have won anyway.
Well, there you go. If Nick Meaney could kick him, Melbourne would have won.
And this is the problem, right? So this could potentially mean that Penrith don't make top 4. Or let's say hypothetically, that was the grand final.
Yeah, you would hate to see that.
Like, if that was the grand final, mate, I probably wouldn't watch rugby league next year.
I'd be filthy if it was my team.
Would it be?
But I would like to think that it's the rule, so you can't argue with the rule.
Yeah, but this is the real danger. The rules have painted us into a corner coming into the final.
And players are exploiting the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, like, realistically, what if we go down that rabbit hole, we could have a situation where a player puts out his arms like this and Harry Grant runs straight into his hand and it's a head high.
Well, I don't, I don't disagree with the whole look of it.
Yeah. I just think referees should be given more leeway to referee with common sense. So, yep, there's a rule in place, but if the replay clearly shows, and there was some instances last year where there was clear obstructions, but the defender was never going to get there. So it was called play on and a try. And everyone's happy with that because they're like, yeah, it was an obstruction, but he wasn't going to get there anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's only an obstruction if it actually is going to affect what's going to happen.
So, okay, Ashley Klein made a decision, right, and he blew a penalty. Would you have both been happy if the bunker stepped in and overruled that?
I would have, yes.
Yeah.
But
the
then
bunker should have stepped in
another
and gone,
can of worms, doesn't it? Because
yeah, that's right.
Next week it'll happen again, and they'll say, "Well, last week you overruled."
Yeah, well, this is the problem. Right?
Yeah.
But bottom line, Harry Grant took a dive. It was cheap, nasty looking in the sense of sportsmanship. And I saw an anonymous coach quoted by Buzz Rockfield today saying, if you tell your players not to take dives, you're doing yourself a disservice. So, that's how the coaches feel. And it's
we spoke about it last week, Molly, with Jaden Campbell not taking the dive against South, which cost his team the game.
Yeah, and didn't you applaud him for that? I certainly did.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've got it's hard. What's happening now is officiating is actually getting in the way of results and matches. That's the problem.
Well, I also think players' actions.
Players are taking the piss out of it.
Well, players' actions are affecting officials' decisions.
Yeah.
Like how many times have you seen Jai Arrow in the last 2 weeks take a hit up and be touched in the jaw and he going like this to the referee? I mean, and then the referee it's only human. He's gone, okay, well, was there something in that tackle? The bunker then looks at it and it's like, oh, we stop play. He stays down. He's looking at the referee shaking his head. So that's another stoppage. That's got to stop. That stuff's got to stop.
I just think it's easily fixed if the referee or whoever's in charge goes, guys, here's the rules, but you have full leeway on common sense. If you think someone's trying to exploit those rules, it's play on and they actually get penalised for it. Like people intentionally throw. So they brought in a rule that if they think they intentionally throw a ball into a player lying in the ruck, it's a penalty the other way. Well, if they can do that, why can't they do that for everything?
Well, this is the problem. I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Sometimes you can't tell. Like sometimes you think a player is acting, and then you see the replay and you say, "Oh shit, he did cop one on the chin." So it's hard.
But at least then the referees actually judged on what their feel is for the game at the time. And that's when you know when you've got a good ref or a bad ref. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not about
let's just hope. Right. But let's just hope that it doesn't decide a big finals game because as Molly said, we're at round 25 and we're talking about a rule change kicking to the corners, which is just absurd. And then we're talking about players taking dives. So let's just hope that when it's a big game, players, although are less likely, hopefully, to take dives.
Well, when we get to the preview for Friday night, there's 2 massive games and refereeing decisions could affect some massive things in those games
Hmm.
in determining minor premiership, top 4, who finishes top 2. There's a lot of ramifications. And I mean, every game is close, but yeah, it's rough.
Hmm.
It's rough.
Let's get into them.
Let's get into them. Thursday night footy, Rabbitohs versus Dragons. I think $12 million salary cap is
Yeah,
missing.
it's a New South Wales Cup game in effect.
Oh, Keon Climatungi's in, isn't he?
He's
Yeah,
back.
he's
Yeah,
back. He's back.
he's been named. I think he'll have to pass a fitness test because everyone thought he was out for the year. So, but just on that, on the fact he might play, I'm tipping South. And on the way, Jai Gray and Tallis Duncan went the other day. I thought they were.
Oh, Jai Gray, shout out to him. That
Well,
was
seriously,
on the weekend just gone.
I tell you what, there's some good fullbacks that the Perth Bears could have a real good look at. What Trey Fuller did against the Broncos on Saturday, Arvo, was unbelievable. Like, seriously, Jai Gray or Trey Fuller running around at fullback for the Bears, you probably got a top 5 or 6 fullback in the comp right there. Potential.
Yeah.
These are the players they should be looking at. You know, the guys that are really
They
pushing.
could be the Papua New Guinea and Perth Bears fullbacks.
Well, because I think Souths are a better team with Jai Gray at fullback and Latrell in the centres.
I
Yeah,
agree.
definitely. Yeah.
You know? So
And
that
the results show it.
I actually think Dolphins are a better team with Trey Fuller at fullback and Hammer in the centres.
I don't disagree with you, but you know what I mean? Like, obviously, we'll see next year when both the teams are in contention for finals and that. But yeah, I love Jai Gray's game. He's a Queenslander too, which is even better. What is he? 4'3"? Is he shorter than Elf?
Yeah, he's got to be close.
Let's do it. But
Hey, Molly,
I'm going to lock in the Rabbitohs too.
Yeah, I'm picking the Rabbitohs, but I'm really disappointed with the NRL. And it's not to do with any sort of rules or anything, but it's the fact that when Alex Johnson breaks the record to Ken Irvine's long-standing try-scoring record, we're not going to... I think it's a significant moment, right? Because I didn't think this record would ever get broken. Molly, you're older than me. Did you think the record would ever be run?
I thought it was untouchable.
Okay, so this is a significant moment in the history of the game. Let's stop the game for 10 minutes. Let the fans run out, congratulate him, get him off the field, and let's start again. Why can't we do that? Why can't we allow that?
You know what? I reckon political correctness. They'd be worried, someone will break their leg jumping the fence, or some idiot will come out with a knife and stab a player in the back. You know, like, I think they're just worried about all the things that could go wrong, and so they're taking the safe option.
Yeah, I just think we're missing
It's
a
a
big
different world,
opportunity.
guys.
Is it a
Yeah, we are. I
is it
agree.
going to be a big celebration when he ties it or breaks it?
When he breaks it, I reckon more than when he
I think
ties
it'll be
it.
a bit of both.
So there's 4 to go, right?
Yeah, but I think yeah, but I think even tying it will be massive. I reckon it won't stop the fans. Like the fans will say bugger the NRL, depending where the game is, of course, and what.
So
the
here's a
security's
question
like.
for you.
I reckon they'll go for it. They'll storm the barricade.
Here's a question for you. Is he going to do it this year?
I don't think so. Not on South's form, on their injuries. You saw he barely got the ball the other day. Like they played great, but without Latrell inside him, like when he scored, I think 3 tries a couple of weeks ago, Latrell handed him 2 of them.
Yes.
I think Latrell's out this week, might be back the following week, but that cuts down his time to get it. So
They've got a bye too.
yeah.
Yes.
Maybe he could.
So they basically play the Dragons by Roosters.
Oh, geez. I don't know. He's probably at long odds now to break it, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call something here. I reckon he's gonna score a double this weekend. And on the round 27, I'm actually probably gonna buy tickets to the game. And I think he'll tie and break it in the one game against the Chooks.
If he gets a double on the weekend,
local derby at Allianz as well.
They'll turn up, won't they? The Rabbitohs fans, if he's got 2 to get. So is it 4? I thought it was 3.
3 to tie.
3 to tie.
No, good luck to him. I just think we're missing an opportunity to really celebrate it. But I don't make those decisions. That's for the NRL.
I
But
mean,
was
I'd love to see him score a hat trick this weekend and then sets up for an absolute cracker in round 27. I
Mate,
mean,
he
you'd get a
could.
packed Allianz for the first time ever.
I tell you what, when he's got one to get, I'd be defending right hand side if I was defending because they're going left. They aren't going anywhere else but left. I'm telling you.
No way. And to be honest, like, say he scores a double this weekend, which there's every chance. They're playing the Dragons, let's be honest. Especially if Tyrell Sloan's defending on that right wing. I reckon they'll just go left all game.
Well, it depends how many minutes Cody Walker plays. He's on the bench. He's named on the bench. So it depends on how many minutes he
He's
plays.
not 100%, obviously, otherwise he's starting. But yeah, it's good for the game. That's the bottom line.
Great for the game. Great for the game.
It'd be a great situation even if he was one behind or level going in the next season, and we've got the whole summer to salivate over it.
I tell you what, you'd be having South versus Roosters round 1 next year, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Get into break it versus Roosters if that was the case. If you're doing the fixtures,
Canadian computer will probably have Souths and the Titans on the Gold Coast, and there'll be people.
Could you imagine?
Put it past them.
Could you imagine if that happened?
All right, let's get into some real games of footy. Penrith versus the Raiders Friday night. Out at Mudgee it is. What are we thinking?
Raiders off a bye. This is a tough one, actually. Mudgee, so this is a Penrith home game, is it? Yeah.
But I don't think it's
another Penrith home game away.
Yeah.
What do you think, Molly?
I think Canberra didn't want the bye. Like they had so much momentum up. They were going well. I just like Penrith. Well, what are they up to? Like obviously they lost last week, but it's still like 9 out of 10 or something. So Cleary's got his confidence back. Yo is a chance of playing. I think he's been named at number 19, but obviously if he's fit, he'll play. I just like the Panthers.
So if Canberra win this, do they wrap up the minor premiership?
No.
No, they don't? Okay.
Well, depending on the next result.
So they could effectively win this. The Bulldogs.
Oh, actually, no, sorry, because there's 2 games to go. They're
okay,
only
right.
points clear of the storm.
Too early.
Oh, this is tough. This is a flip of the coin job. Like I haven't really.
I think this is more of a pressure game for Canberra than it is Penrith.
Yeah, agreed.
I think you're telling yourself that because you go for Penrith. No, because
if Penrith come out and win convincingly, do you think Canberra have a sniff of winning the comp?
If Penrith lose, mate, they could drop to 7th.
Yeah, that's right.
So every game
there's
now
a lot
is
of doubters about Canberra, though, aren't there? And
but people aren't going to write off Penrith, and Penrith aren't going to get beat convincingly.
I agree with you, Molly. Yeah. I agree with you what you were just saying then, Mole.
Yeah.
Can you see Penrith getting convincingly beaten?
I can see him getting beaten.
I don't think people have doubts over Penrith as much as they will over Raiders.
I must admit, I've been waiting for the Raiders to sort of slip, but they just haven't. They just keep winning.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the NRL has, and that's why if they get beat by 20, people say, the pressure's got to them. We're on the eve of the finals. So it's a much bigger game for Canberra than Penrith.
They haven't played anyone
All
good.
the pressure's on them.
Or many teams that are good. To be
Who?
Raiders.
Both teams haven't.
What's that?
Well, Penrith have played Melbourne last week, the Broncos the week before, and then the rest of the 8 weeks before that was dog shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so I don't know. This is for me a flip of the coin. I honestly, I mean, if I had to tip on my life, I'd tip the Panthers. But I could see the Raiders winning easily. Not easily as in winning easily, but I could see them definitely winning.
Get off the fence.
Oh, if I got a tip for my life, I'll tip the Panthers. Just because I know everyone probably will tip the Panthers, and I'm neck and neck in the tipping comp, so I'll just stick solid on this one. No, not on this game.
The next game I'm actually really interested in the next game. Storm versus Bulldogs. I think most people are obviously leaning towards the Storm here. But do you think it's as clear cut as it looks?
In Melbourne?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a rule, never tip against a Storm in Melbourne, and 90% of the time you'll get it up. So
So the
Yeah.
interesting thing
I
here,
agree with you there. If it was at a core stadium, geez, it'd be a good game.
yeah,
well, the interesting thing here is Ryan Pappenhausen is named in jersey 21.
yeah,
So
most
he'll,
at fullback, but that might change.
yeah.
This is
So
a
that,
real opportunity for the Dogs to make a statement.
and Sean Blaw's out. Joe Chan's playing back row.
Yeah, this is a real opportunity for the Dogs to make a statement.
I think the Dogs are gone, personally. I think they're gone. They can't win the comp. They're gonski. See you later. Put a line through them.
Yeah, we
Gone.
said that after last week.
Yeah,
They
they're
were
gone.
beaten by the
They're gone.
Chooks pretty convincingly.
It is, they have built a bomb and they've stuck it under themselves and blown themselves up by what's happened during the year. Seriously, I can't. I can maybe get on board the Lachlan Galvin, but when you drop Mareed Marnie from the starting 9,
Yeah, that's
that to me is just baffling. And I'm not a huge fan of Marnie, but he leads your kick chase. He's a genuine grub, which is what I think every team needs. A guy that just everyone wants to fight
just gets
because
under people's
it
skin.
gets under people's skin. He puts them off their game.
Yeah.
And
And he's very shitty. He hasn't taken it graciously, and that's not having a go at him. You know, if it was me, I'd be shitty too. So that's upset the balance of the team.
and the
You
balance of
know,
the team, Molly, is the same. Like it's as you just said, the balance of the team is when you look at their bench, they've got Kurt Mann, who's a ball playing lock. He's a small ball playing lock, and then you've got a backup hooker on the bench. Like to me, at least Bailey Hayward, he can play in the forwards. You
Yeah,
know, he
well,
can,
that's the weirdest part. You're right. Bailey Hayward's got the versatility, so he should be the one on the bench.
mm,
that's so
But he can
yeah.
also play in the halves, so he's like coverage for everywhere if someone goes down.
The
yeah,
Storm could put 30 on them.
They could. I hope they do, to be honest with you.
And I'm like you, Molly. I'm the same. You can't tip against Melbourne at home.
mm,
Lock
yeah.
in the Storm.
Lock in the Storm.
Makes 3 of us. Manly versus the Dolphins in Manly.
DCE's 350th.
Yep.
Now, normally I would say they'll do it for DCE, but the word I'm getting, and this all goes back to round 2 or 3 or 4, whenever it all happened, the players aren't all that wrapped with DCE and how it went down. And the fact that he told them that early that he was leaving, it sort
On
of sent a
TV.
bad message. And we've seen what's happened. Manly been a mess. So I don't think there's going to be any massive, let's do it for DCE. And as a result, normally I'd tip Manly, but I really like the Dolphins. I know they've hit the wall and they're really missing Herbie. Herbie's a world-class player. And I think Hammer's going to go back to fullback this week.
Yeah, so Molly, so Hammer's been named in the 1. Felice Kafusi comes back. Trey Fuller's named on the bench. And Ray Stone drops out of the 17.
Yeah, strange. I wouldn't have done that.
No.
Well, I think that's
Did Christian Wolf not see Trey Fuller last week, or did he think it was Hamaso playing fullback? Like, I actually thought Hamaso was quite good against Katoni Staggs in the centres. Like, I thought Staggs was unbelievable, but I thought
Yeah,
Hammer.
Staggs was great, but Hammer, he scored a try too, didn't he? And
Absolutely,
don't
I
be
thought he held
surprised
his
if
own.
that's a tactic of the Dolphins
Well,
and the same lineup as last week.
What? Even Ray Stone.
I think you'll see.
So effectively, Ray Stone's made way for Felice Kafusi.
I reckon you'll see a late change there. I think you'll see Trey Fuller go to fullback, Hamaso go to the centres, one of the centres drop out to the side, and Ray Stone go to the bench.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he's playing games. The thing about the Dolphins, guys, this is their 3rd year. The first 2, they've hit the wall coming into the finals. They're both years they could have made the finals and were playing well enough. But the length of the comp has just got to them. And I think it's going to happen again. I think it's in their heads. But having said all that, I'm tipping him. So
Yeah.
No, I'm tipping the Dolphins. Lock the Dolphins in for me. Yeah,
I'm tipping the Dolphins as well. I'm not a bit like you, Molly. I don't know if they're really going to rise to the DCE occasion. It sucks. Like, and I think he's done it to himself a little bit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And like I just had a look at Manly's bench. Seriously, Aaron Shupp, Like, come on.
Yeah.
That name alone makes me tip Dolphins. So
Ashley
sorry,
Klein.
Wow.
Ashley
sorry,
Klein's
Aaron. I don't think you're
Ashley
coming on for an
Klein is the
interview.
ref for that game, Molly.
Oh,
Do you reckon he
why did you have to tell me that?
do you reckon he gets out of the Northern Beaches alive if Manly get a few dud calls?
Well, we talk about blokes taking dives. I think Cherry's pretty good at it too. So
Is Ashley
you're the
Kine in
best,
the bunker
Ashley.
for the Storm Dogs game?
But the referee is Adam G. I just looked at that before. Yes, Ashley Klein is the bunker. Yes.
Yeah, wow. I thought that was the
No, but
case.
they got the best ref though, Adam G. So that's good. They got the best ref in that game. I think
Yeah.
anyway.
Titans versus the Warriors on the Gold Coast.
This is actually tough. I'm feeling the Titans can get up for this.
I'll go first here. I'm locking in the Titans. I
It's a
Jackson
game.
Ford is out.
It's a game the Warriors have to win, and the Warriors should win. And over the last 10 years, they're the games the Warriors tend to lose, don't they?
Well, they lost to the Titans in New Zealand not long ago.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the Titans. They're a good football team. I just can't understand why they one week they turn up and next week they don't. You know, whether
Look,
it's
this was,
theirs, whether
and
it's
it's
players.
I think last year, wasn't it 70-6 or something, one game between these two teams?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been
This
impressed by
game could honestly go either way in a close or a blowout.
I haven't been impressed by what I've seen from the Warriors the last few weeks.
That
No.
they've been really bad. They've been actually probably one of the worst teams in the comp.
Yeah.
The fact that they beat the Dragons last week was, there was some controversy in that game as well, but
and they fell over the line, didn't they?
fell over.
I'm also I must admit I am glad they've gone back to CNK at fullback. I don't think for the Warriors to go forward, Tuapiki's the right guy to play fullback, and because I don't think CNK gets enough footy in the centres. So
Yeah.
I do like that, but I just don't think they've got no creativity in the halves. They got
Well,
nothing.
they've lost their other
without
front
Metcalf.
rower again for the rest of the season. Well,
Yeah.
regular season, Jackson Ford.
Yeah.
And
Oh, Halasima's been dropped back to the bench.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they've
That
made
might-
way
that
for
might-
Rocco
that might
Berry.
change too. They've really fallen apart ever since Luke Metcalf.
Done his knee.
I rate Tamari Martin. I think he's the best of what they've got left. I don't like Tanner Boyd.
No, he should be the 7. That's right, Molly. Martin should be the 7. Absolutely.
But Martin, for a player I like, he hasn't been producing. He did last year. Well, whenever Sean Johnson was out, he went to halfback, and they were winning games with him there that they were losing with Johnson. So, but this year he just hasn't played well. But he's just re-signed. So, strange. But yeah, I don't know who to tip. But I'll go the Warriors just because it means so much more to them. I think the Titans have had enough. Clearly, Dez's papers are marked. He won't be there next year. So,
well, yeah,
I'm hearing he might be.
Well, there was a thought about it, but after the way they went last week, I think that was the final nail.
Yeah.
If the Warriors don't win this, they can't finish fourth. I don't think.
So it's must win.
It's must win.
I think they'll get up. Whereas what are the Titans playing for?
That's
don't
right.
know it's going to be.
Yeah, well, you'll soon see what they're made of.
What's the next game? It's Parramatta versus the Roosters.
So what was that? So Molly's gone the Warriors and Dicko, you're Titans as well.
No, the Titans. Yep.
All right. Parramatta versus the Roosters. Now, if you asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd almost be inclined to tip the Parramatta Eels, but after last week, Parramatta were woeful.
Daniel Tupou's out.
Brilliant. Yes, Daniel Tupou is being replaced by Junior Tupou.
How tall is he?
Not tall enough for Zach Lomax. I think that's where Parramatta might exploit the Roosters.
I guarantee you that Nwanga Tawasi will mark up on him. I'm got the Roosters in this. I think the Roosters, and I was just telling Dizz this before, I think the Roosters are a dark horse to win the comp. I've loved what I've seen from the Roosters, and my brother-in-law is a big Roosters fan, and I know he listens to this, and I cannot believe I'm going to say it, but I do think they can win the comp. I think they're coming into a rich vein. Sam Walker's now got games under his belt. Savala's a great foil for him. Victor Radley is finally looks like he's getting some games rather than getting knocked out every second week. I love the front rower, Nafahu White. I think he's an up-and-coming superstar of the game.
And let's not forget Tedesco. I mean, he's just playing
Tedesco.
out of his skin. He's
I
a
mean,
form forward.
Kevy Walters has come out and said Tedesco is a massive chance for the Kangaroo Tour at the end of the year. You
Well,
know,
you compare his game to Dylan Edwards last week, and
absolutely.
you'd pick Tedesco, straight away without
So,
hesitation.
so I've got to watch on the Roosters. I'm tipping the Roosters in this. I think they'll win this easy, and I've got to watch on them. I think, again, like from where they've come, I think they can win the comp. I really do.
I agree with everything you've said about the dark horse. I see him making the grand final and losing it. So we're in a similar
Who are they playing?
frame of mind. I knew you'd ask me that. The Panthers or the Storm?
Yeah, fair enough. That's who I'd probably say. Yeah.
I'm going to tip the Roosters, but for the listeners out there, if you're going to go and upset,
You kidding?
I
Mate,
dead set would consider the Eels. Daniel Tupou is out.
mate, we know
Sam
you.
Walker. Well, hear me out. Hear me out.
We know you hate the Roosters.
Sam Walker has targeted Daniel Tupou. In fact, 12 tries in the last 8 games. Daniel Tupou on the back of Sam Walker's boot. He's now kicking to Junior Tupou. Not going to happen.
Mhm.
Zach Lomax will be versing Junior Tupou. Probably more likely that Zach Lomax scores a double.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Space.
out of out of the realms of possibility, particularly with the number of upsets we had last week. But again, if you had to put your life on it, I'm going Roosters.
Yeah. I might go and upset. I might lock in the Eels.
You got nothing to lose, mate.
I got nothing to lose. Lock in the Eels. I'm going to give the Parramatta fans hope. I know we got plenty of them. Knights versus Broncos. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm giving no hope to the Knights.
No, they're terrible.
Molly's favourite team.
They scored naught again in the first half last week. Like, it's just unbelievable how they can. Again, they're like the Sharks. They're very consistent. but
They've gotten
in a bad
worse, I
way.
think. They were showing a bit of fight, but that fight's gone.
Yeah.
They were real bad on the weekend.
I must admit, boys, these are the games that do concern me, being a supporter of the Brisbane Broncos, because there's a tendency there that they don't put their best performance forward against teams that they should
The
beat.
Cowboys beat them.
I do think
38-4.
the Broncos win. I do think the Broncos win, but sometimes they just don't play great against teams that they should beat easily. So they have a tendency to make it closer than what it probably should be. But I do think they win. And, for Brisbane, they're suffering a little bit in the forward depth at the moment. No, they just lost another back rower for probably the season. So the bench is very skinny of forwards. It's got Jesse Arthurs and Tyson Smoothier on the bench. So you would expect Haas and Carrigan to play massive minutes. I don't know whether Jesse Arthurs will stay in that 17, Fletcher Baker or someone like that.
As long as Fletcher Baker doesn't play, seriously.
Well, Brendan Piakura, he's another one that's fit, but they're keeping him out. He's been in the gerbo range. He's had a few concussions of late. So
How good's Ben Tolte been?
yeah, I know. How good he's come from dead set nowhere.
Great signing from the North Sydney Bears.
And he can score a meat pie as well.
Yeah. Dicko, I'll make this prediction. They're either going to win by 60 or 6. There'll be nothing in between.
Oh, do you know what, Molly? I was
those
almost going to say, I reckon Bronx will put 50 on him.
You might be right. You might be right. Let's hope so. Anyway, that'll. What's it? 2:00 on a Sunday. That'll ease the blood pressure on a Sunday arvo. I can have a nice Sunday arvo then.
The beloved Phoenix Crossland's back though.
Yeah, you love him.
No, he's hopeless. Lock in the Broncos. Tigers versus Cowboys. Actually, this is hard.
No, this is easy. Leichhardt, the Tigers. Easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Tigers.
Spiritual home. They'll get it done.
I'll lock in the Tigers, but I don't know if it's easy.
No,
Actually, they've been good, haven't they?
I like what the Tigers are doing, mate. I really,
For for the first time, they've actually consistently strung some wins together.
Yeah.
In
And the young
about 5
guys,
years.
all these young guys we thought were going to be good players are starting to show it, and they're winning games. And next year, I think they're a good chance for finals footy.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and a sign that they've taken the next step is on the weekend, if you remember, Manly scored a try in the first set of 6 of the game.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So the Tigers could have just, who knows what could have happened from that, but they galvanised behind the try line, and then they went on and done it in a canter in the end. So Adam Dewey's been a revelation at halfback. I'm glad they re-signed him. I thought if they let him go, I really thought it was just going to be another, oh no, don't tell me the Tigers have done this. I think him and Luai are the future in the 7 and the 6 with Coruscant. And they've got to keep Jareem Buller. I really like him at fullback as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a champion in years to come.
One thing I will say about the Tigers is Terrell May gets way. He reminds me of Payne Haas about 5 years ago when Payne, everything the Broncos did used to go through Payne Haas, and it sometimes was to the detriment of the attack. Terrell May's a bit the same. Like there was a play on the weekend, and I almost put it up on our socials. They made a break down the sideline, and the ball back inside was thrown to Terrell May. Now I'm like, what's the front rower doing there? Great for the front rower to be there as a ball, but let's not give it to the front rowers. You should be giving it to the outside backs. Then the front rowers, their job is to get the ball going forward, not to be taking inside balls off a break. You know what I mean? So I just think when he evolves his game a little bit more and becomes more comfortable, he'll be damaging, and he'll be more impactful the less he's involved, like Payne is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I got a question for you. Can the Tigers actually make the 8 this year?
No.
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 No. So I'm just going
It's
to bring
as
up the ladder
easy as the
here.
Roosters losing this weekend.
I don't think the 8 changes from what it is right now.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of, it might change positions within that 8, but the teams that are in the 8 don't change.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think what we've got, we're going to have in 3 weeks' time.
It should finish that way, but if the Roosters lose this weekend, they play the Storm next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they've got South to finish.
Tigers have Titans.
Mate.
Watch this space. Watch
Okay,
this
righto.
space. Give the Tigers fans some hope.
Righto, champ.
All right, guys. Good stuff.
Thanks, guys. Love it.